Welcome back to another episode of Wake Up and Live with Bob. It's a very chilly day, so I'm doing my video in the exact sunlight, and boy, it's a little nippy today. Um, but before I begin, I just want to repeat to you a statistics I just heard, and which is very troubling for me. I heard that the 10 richest guys in the United States actually doubled their earnings over the pandemic for the last 2 years or so. The rate at which they doubled their earnings is $15,000 per second. That's the rate at which they doubled their earnings over the last 2 years of the pandemic. $15,000 a second. And that has directly impacted the poor in the United States. The poor, who, by the way, you should know 59% of Americans actually live one paycheck away from homelessness. Meaning, if they got fired or anything, it is very likely, not exactly that they're going to be homeless, but it's very likely that they're on their way to being homeless. My God. Today I want to talk to you about why the United States is at a disadvantage to China in the Caribbean, South America, in Africa, and much of the developed world. All right. My last video, which talks about the uncomfortable truth of Chinese in Jamaica, I've read a lot of reports, and I realize that people don't understand what it is that is happening. They have bought into a whole bunch of scare tactics and stuff that is not serving them well. So I just want to quickly explain why it is, because the fact is the United States is losing grounds and is at a disadvantage to China economically, and there is an explanation, but we must understand what it is. So, for much of the 20th century, the United States have been bogged down in a self-imposed Cold War on the former Soviet Union. During that time, the United States spent a great deal of its finances, its energies, resources on actually seeking out and punishing and isolating anyone who has anything to do with the Soviet Union. Now, that was a very expensive undertaking for all those decades, and trillions of dollars were spent into destabilizing a lot of countries that were seen as being part of the sphere of influence from the Soviet Union. The What that did was it created a lot of hard feelings among people out there in the world, a lot of enemies, a lot of a lot of wasted opportunities, because all during that time, United States had developed strong influences in the world, and instead of capitalizing on it to create equal partners with those around us, or let's not say equal partners, but a little more equity in world economics, the United States instead you squandered that political capital, that influence it had on the world, and in trying to create a sort of economic imperialism, or uh, you know just something that just looked very like an ugly form of capitalism. And so during that time, the large, poor countries with good potential, like China and India, have been rising steadily. They've been investing in their people rather than spending the money abroad trying to destabilize other peoples. And so out of that came China. And now China is creating a sort of an alternative to what was being offered by the United States. And when I say an alternative, I'll give you one example, a few examples. Um, uh, the IMF, which it's not just a United States organization, but it is largely controlled by the United States. The World Bank, or financial organizations like those, when they lend countries like Jamaica money, they the tendency is to tell the country, dictate to the country what they can or cannot do for the next how many long the terms of the loan is. All right, so Jamaica, for example, they'll tell Jamaica, you cannot build any schools for the next 10 years. You cannot open any hospitals. You cannot subsidize any agricultural crops. You cannot build any roads. You cannot do this. You cannot do this. You cannot. That's all it did. Tell the countries, dictate to the countries what they cannot do, right? They have to first give priority to paying back the country. Not only that, what was happening also with the United States when it lent money under the premise of developing these countries was that it would dictate to the countries that you have to spend 98 cents of every dollar back in our country, not in the country it's lending the money to. So it was designed to develop a sort of dependency, and these countries quickly got smart. They're just not capable of pulling themselves up, but they quickly got smart and understood what was actually happening. And so today, China is creating an alternative to those kind of monetary, stringent monetary policies. What China is offering to many of these countries, why they're gravitating towards it, is that China will say, okay, here is what we want from you. What do you want from us? And the countries might say, well, we need roads. We need 600 kilometers of roads. And China said, okay, well, we're doing huge constructions in China, as you know. We need aggregates, or we need limestone, we need stuff, you know. And the countries will say, okay, let's come to an agreement. But vim, bam, boom, they come to an agreement. China gives the country what they want. The country gets from China what they want. And there's no dictation to the countries that you cannot build this, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, and so forth. And so it's becoming a more attractive relationship for a lot of these countries. And so today I'm here to tell you that that is not all, but that is primarily one of the reasons that the United States is at a disadvantage to China in the Caribbean, in South America, in Africa, and in most of the developing world. All right, I don't wish to take sides here because both sides have two different agenda. China has a geopolitical agenda, and it seems like the United States has a China has a geo-economic agenda, it seems. And the United States has a geo-economic agenda too, but it's still bogged down in the geopolitical dominance around the world. And that there is something that is putting the United States at a disadvantage to China. All right? Again, I don't wish to take sides. I'm just simply telling you the facts so you understand when you are looking or trying to understand what is actually happening. All right. I hope I made a little sense to you. Not everybody will agree with me, and I understand that dynamics very well. But I just want to say thank you for watching Wake Up and Live with Bob. If you haven't yet done so, please like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell and tell someone about my videos. Thanks again for watching.